Okay, this dedication would not have happened for Walter Strang and for the citizens of Hoevelaken. I've been to Hoevelaken quite a few times, and it's hard to express the gratitude that the Dutch people have for the Canadians. And I know I was there when we had the liberation of their monument, and a rock came from Rocky Mountain House. And when you march down the street on there, and all the citizens are out waving the Canadian flag, the emotion is indescribable. So that's how they remember, and to me, the Dutch people are way up there in my books. Can't get any better as far as I'm concerned. So the Loyal Lady Walter Strang was killed in Hoevelaken during the last days of the Second World War. Theo and Gerard and Martin of the Hoevelaken formed the Walter Strang Foundation to honor the Loyal Lady Walter Strang. They built a monument for him and named a street after him in Hoevelaken. I know you're going to get more about that later on. The foundation was also responsible for the Liberation Monument, and like you say, they shipped the rock over from Rocky Mountain House, and there it sits with their monument on top of it. The monument you're about to see was designed by Theo Zimmerman, the late Theo Zimmerman. He passed away before he could see this, a product of his work. The colors are from the Loyal Edmonton Regiment Association. Now is the time for the unveiling. Gentlemen, raise it. All the way up. Okay, tire off. I'd like to call up Marguerite Zimmerman to come up and say a few words.
Let me introduce myself. I am Margaret Zuurman, widow of Theo Zuurman, who designed this memorial. In our town of Hoevelaken, a special monument is the place where on the 4th of May all victims of World War II are remembered and honored every year. As of 1947, on that monument, the name was W. Strang. Nothing else. It was a simple cross. My late husband Theo started in 2004 an investigation because he wanted to know who this private Strang was and where he came from. His inquiries led him to Toronto and Edmonton. W. Strang at first was a private of the Toronto Scottish Regiment. Later on, he served in the Loyal Edmonton Regiment. Theo discovered that his name was actually Walter Strang. Walter Strang and Kent Froland from the Loyal Edmonton Regiment got to know each other during the war and became friends. Unfortunately, on the 19th of April 1945, Walter was killed in action in Hoevelaken. Kent Froland survived. The remains of Walter Strang are buried at the Canadian War Cemetery at Groesbeek in the Netherlands. In May 2008, a new monument for Walter Strang was designed and erected, and as of this day, Strang was remembered every year by Hoevelaken citizens and by the school children of our local primary schools. The story of Walter Strang is told in the schools and his book is presented to them. The veteran Kent Froland also came to Hoevelaken and told the story of Walter and himself. The children also put red and white roses in front of the monuments. After the first monument, Theo felt the need to make a special connection between Toronto, Edmonton, and Hoevelaken, and so he did. Second, the original stainless steel cutout of the Walter Strang's monument in Hoevelaken, we will show you tonight in the movie, was sent to Toronto and was placed in front of the Armoury of the Toronto Scottish Regiment in September 2012. Third, in 2015, a liberation monument was made. We will also show you tonight. and it was put in Hoevelaken nearby the church, the place where the Germans and Canadians fought intensively during the last days of World War II in April 1945. During those days, Private Walter Strang lost his life. The Liberation Monument was unveiled by his friend Ken Froland on the 5th of May 2015. The rock which formed the monument came from Alberta and symbolizes the roots of Alberta and the Eddies. And today we have come to the fourth and last episode of this journey. A special memorial is made and symbolizes the bond between Hoevelaken and the Loyal Edmonton Regiment. The bond between Hoevelaken and Edmonton began on the 19th of April 1945, when Private Walter Strang died in the forest of Hoevelaken when he was hit by a German mortar shell. The Loyal Edmonton Regiment liberated our village of Hoevelaken on the 21st of April 1945. And today we have unveiled this memorial and remember Walter Strang, his brothers in arms, the veterans, and everyone who helped liberate our village of Hoevelaken and the rest of the Netherlands. I want to thank the Loyal Edmonton Regiment for their support to make the memorial according to Theo's design. Thank you so much.
Today we gather to honor the memory of a man whose courage and dedication played a major role in shaping the history of the town Hoevelaken, Walter Strang. As we stand here to unveil this monument, we commemorate his unforgotten contribution to the liberation of Hoevelaken during one of the darkest periods in history. Walter Strang is nowadays not just a soldier. He's a symbol of hope and resilience. At a time when freedom seemed distant and oppression loomed over our community, Walter and his comrades brought with them the promise of liberation. Through his bravery and selflessness, Walter helped to restore peace to a place ravaged by war and fear. His action and sacrifice during those critical days of the liberation contributed that future generations could live in freedom, something we should never take for granted. And the efforts of Theo Zuurman gave a face to the fight for our freedom. And when you see it, then it really comes close. This monument stands not only as a reminder of the battles fought in Hoevelaken, but as a tribute to the spirit of a man who risked his life for the freedom of others. It's a permanent acknowledgement of Walter Strang's sacrifice in bringing light to Hoevelaken during one of its darkest hours. But it's not only his bravery and courage, it's also a symbol for all the courage of the Canadian soldiers of the Loyal Edmonton Regiment. And as we reflect on Walter's bravery, let us also remember that it extends beyond the battlefield. This monument is not merely a symbol of the past, but a call for each of us to honor sacrifice, that freedom is preserved and protected for generations to come. And it's nice to see that a bond has grown between Hoevelaken and Edmonton. And I met several of you in Hoevelaken. It's nice to see you here back again. As we unveil this monument today, may it serve as a lasting tribute to Walter Strang and a reminder of the gratitude we owe him and all those Canadian soldiers who fought for our liberation. Let it inspire us to cherish and defend the peace and freedom that he and they helped secure for all of us. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Karen Principe and I'm proud to represent people living in Ward Tustawinawak here on Treaty 6 territory. And I'm also very proud to be an Edmonton Salutes Committee member. It is a group that recognizes the contributions of military and veterans and their families in the Edmonton metropolitan area. It is an honor to be here on behalf of City Council to help unveil the Edmonton Netherlands Memorial. I didn't actually help unveil it, but I was here to enjoy watching it. Our countries share a special bond shaped when the Canadian Forces spearheaded the liberation of the Netherlands during World War II. During the liberation, we forged strong ties that still share today. More than 1 million Canadians can trace their ancestry back to the Netherlands, and Edmonton is proud to be home to a vibrant Dutch community. Each year, we are honored to recognize Dutch Heritage Day on May 5th, which is also Liberation Day in the Netherlands. This memorial will serve always as a reminder of our shared history, our enduring bonds of friendship, and as a testament to the human spirit. It's also a symbol of hope and the future, of the importance of overcoming distance and differences to a better world. We were just speaking earlier, Margaret and I, about the importance of remembrance, and this is going to help contribute to that. So thank you all for your part in this. Our city is proud of the bravery, dedication, and sacrifices made by the military community, past and present, who served at home and abroad.
People probably don't know, I've been at the regiment for 16, in my 17th year, and what people probably don't know is you can't go that long through the regiment without being touched by the relationship with the Netherlands. You cannot do it. It's over the years, it just continually is groomed. In 2013, our team was part of the Nijmegen marches, and of course this is where I met Theo. And he took us to Walter Strang's grave, and we learned a lot about the area and what battles went on there. And more recently, we just came back from a battlefield tour, a regimental battlefield tour in early May this year. And similarly, obviously, we visited your town. We visited the memorials that were there. So it's very important for the regiment to be reminded of their history, and this monument. Quite contemporary there. It's very nice. Like I have to admit, I expected just a traditional monument, but I didn't expect something that looks like this. So kudos to Theo for designing it that way. He had a lot of foresight. I would like to add, though, that you'll see this is the Northwest Europe. One of the reasons we've got the guard here today is it's a big reminder that these gentlemen served in the Netherlands and Northwest Europe, and these are the future of what they brought to us.
Tributes matter, commemorations matter, but the passage of time has a way of dissolving details. Pictures fade, memories become hazy, and the actual participants are very elderly or no longer with us. Ironically, with the passage of time, the outcomes somehow take on a degree of certainty or inevitability, cold hard facts, like June 6, 1944, D-Day. November 4th, 1944, the Battle of the Scheldt to open the critical passage to Antwerp. May 6th, Liberation Day in the Netherlands and the end of World War II in Europe. But 80 years ago today, October 26th, 1944, the outcomes were far from certain or inevitable. Operation Market Garden, or the Battle of Arnhem, the attempt to cross the Rhine, was a big failure 3 weeks earlier. The Battle of the Scheldt was hanging on by a thread. And the counteroffensive 2 months later, namely the Battle of the Bulge, to retake Antwerp, would prove to be very costly, with the death of over 19,000 Americans and with 75,000 casualties, Christmas of '44. And the winter of hunger, which gripped the population of northern Netherlands, had yet to reap its deadly harvest. Nearly 20,000 died and hundreds of thousands were on the brink of starvation by the time the liberation in April of 1945 took place. So today we commemorate the life of Private Walter Strang, one man of more than 7,600 Canadians who lie buried in the Netherlands. One man who gave up his life willingly to fight for the cause of freedom and justice. One man who symbolizes the spirit of two nations, of two peoples, the liberated, the Dutch people who to this day, and we heard it again, continue to express immense gratitude to Walter Strang and the thousands of his fellow soldiers, Canadians who sacrificed their lives to liberate the Netherlands. And the liberators, the Canadians who did what they thought was right, and to this day continued to be amazed of the appreciation they received, and we as Canadians received from the Dutch people. And why the relationship, this special relationship between the Netherlands and Canada is so unique, so deep, and so special. Yes, tributes are important. Commemorations are important. On behalf of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, King Willem, and the liberated, my parents included, and my grandparents, thank you.